The homiletian in me, the preacher in me, the biblical expositor within me seems to always find some tension within the text. Are y'all praying with me? And here is my tension in the text, Bradley. They come back with these two different opinions. Caleb said, let's go get it. But the majority said, we can't do it. We can't possess it. We can't walk in it. We can't have it. It will require too much. So my question is, St. Paul, what happened to them? Why did they come back so negative? It seems as though while they all saw the same thing, Caleb knew something that the rest of them did not know. What did they miss seeing that was about to cause them to miss out? I'm trying to help somebody. Obviously, Caleb saw something and understood something that the rest of them did not understand. And the reason I got to deal with that is because there might be 2 or 3 of you all in here that are about to miss out on some things, not because of what you saw, but because you didn't understand what you saw. Are y'all praying with me? So here it is. Here is the difference. The naysayers did not realize that the Lord would not allow them to see it if it wasn't possible for them to have it. I think I just said something. The Lord won't let you see it if it's not possible for you to have it. See, Caleb understood that the only reason they were standing in front of the blessing is because it was time for them to have the blessing. Somebody should have shouted right there. I said the only reason they're standing in front of the blessing is because it was time for them to have the blessing. And in your own life, saints of God, you've got to know God would not bring you to the point of getting it if it were not time for you to have it. Talk to me, somebody. See, they failed to recognize that God had led them up to this point, at this time, at this moment, for the purpose of possessing the promise. So that's why Caleb said, let's go get it, because he knew it was time. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Are you sure you can handle it? Can I tell you something? When God puts you in front of it, but you won't go get it, you give the enemy time to mess with it. You're looking at me funny. Then let me say something about the historicity of the text in order for you to understand it in proper context. Are y'all praying with me? Now, when the initial report was given you all by the spies, they specifically made mention of the size of the grapes. They said that the clusters were so large that it took 2 people to carry them. They talked about you all how plenteous were the pomegranates and the figs. They said there's enough fruit here for us never to go hungry. They said this land flows with milk and honey. And of course, you all, they spent a great deal of time talking about the giants. They specifically mention all of those things. However, they do not spend a great deal of time talking about these walls. Stick with me now. Biblical historians tell us, you all, that this particular area that they've spied out would later become commonly known as Jericho. Don't miss this. And when you recall that some 40 years later, when they come back in the book of Joshua, the walls are surrounding Jericho. When they first go to spy out the land, there is not a lot of talk about the walls because the walls don't get in the way. As a matter of fact, they're able to walk into the land, grab the fruit, see the giants, and slip right back out. But when they come back, all of a sudden, what they once simply walked into, now there's some walls around it. Don't miss what I'm saying now. So they come to the place of blessing. They come to the moment of blessing. They come to the time of blessing. But because they were so consumed with trying to figure out how God was going to do it, they almost messed around and missed out. They spent 40 years wandering around, you all, and when they come back, there's a wall standing between them and their blessing. Here's my question. What do you think the enemy is going to do with your blessing if you won't go get it? Kill all the scary folk. All of y'all that don't want to fight for it. Don't want to go get it. Don't want to deal with no opposition. Don't want to face no giants. Let me help you. See, when you see the giants, when you see the walls, Savage, that ain't the time to have no pity party. That ain't the time to cry. That ain't the time to feel sorry for yourself. Watch this. See, your opposition is evidence of your opportunity. Hello, somebody. The Bible says that they see the giants. They see the fortified cities. And they allow what they see, watch this now, to be defined as obstacles. And they subsequently use that as evidence that they can't go get it. But here's what they missed. It would not be protected if it was not valuable. Somebody just missed what I said. I said it would not be protected if it was not valuable. A strong man doesn't guard an empty house. A strong man guards a house that's got some stuff in it. So when I see obstacles, when I see opposition, I got to tell myself, if it wasn't worth it, the devil wouldn't be fighting it. If it wasn't worth it, the devil wouldn't be blocking it. If it wasn't worth it, he wouldn't be messing with you. Look at your neighbor and say, it's worth it. Don't meet this. Come here, Sunday school students. Come here, Sunday school students. Don't miss this. When it was time to leave Egypt, for all practical purposes, no trouble. When it was time to cross the Red Sea, no trouble. When they got hungry in the wilderness, manna fell, no trouble. When they got tired of complaining about bread, quails, they number a little bit of chicken, they fell. I wish I had somebody. No trouble. But when they got to the place of promise, all of a sudden it got harder. And they couldn't figure out, why did it get harder? The Red Sea wasn't hard. Egypt wasn't hard. The wilderness wasn't hard. Why would we get this close to the promise and all of a sudden they get hard? What they did not understand was all of that other stuff was preparation for where they are right now. I came to tell somebody today that everything you went through, everything you dealt with, everything you've cried about, it's been preparation to get you where you are right now. Is there anybody struggling right now? Is there anybody facing dilemma right now? Is there anybody having a hard time right now? Is there anybody that think you're not going to make it right now? Well, God told me to tell you, stop crying about it and shout your way through it. Stop crying about it and praise your way through it. I say stop crying about it and praise your way through it. I say stop crying about it and shout your way through it. Is there anybody in here that's made up in your mind? I'm going to shout my way through it. I'm going to praise my way through it. I'm going to get back to this paper another time. Is there anybody in here that knows God done brought you too far to leave you right now? This ain't the first time I've seen a giant. This ain't the first time I've struggled. This ain't the first time I've had it hard. But if God kept me all them other times, I'm crazy enough to believe God's going to keep me right now. Is there anybody in here that believes God can keep you right now? You got to press your way through it. You got to fight your way through it. You got to shout your way through it. You got to lift up your hands and say, for God I live, and for God I'm willing to die. God didn't bring me this far to leave me all by myself. I say, won't he do it? I say, won't he do it? I say, won't he do it? I say, won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he do it?